Hello, hello. Hang on. Hello. Hi, excellent. Thank you for doing that. That is awesome. That is Claudia. Hello, Claudia. Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. And hello, Stephanie. And I'm going to say hello to I'm not singling anybody. Hello, Paulina. Excellent. Great. Hello, Josephine. This is great. We're off to a good start already. I'm not. Hello. Good afternoon, Eric. I think it's pronounced that. Please correct my pronunciation as we go. Um, Good afternoon, Eric. Wait, there's more people coming. Hello. I think it's Cheyenne. Or tell me if is that right? Okay, great. Hello, Cheyenne. Hello, Maria. Awesome. Hello. Hello, Emily. Did I already say that? Sorry. Hello, Oh, I did. Okay, but hello, Emily. Or no, I didn't. You've just been in the waiting room for a long time. That's right. Hello, Jada. Hello, Jenna. Hello, who else? And of course, and hello, Stephanie. Hello, Victoria. Hello, Katie. I think it's Katie. Again, please correct me. Oh, hello, Alan. All right. Oh, is that for real or is that a background? Are you really there? Okay. Anyway, hello, Alan. Hello, Alexis. Hello, Logan. Hello, Victoria. Okay, we're just gonna get warmed up. We will start. So you're all in the right place, I think, but we'll find out in a minute. Hello. Okay, good afternoon, Logan. Thank you for saying so. Excellent. Who else are we? Hello, Victoria. Excellent. There's more people. Hello. And she even waved. All right, excellent. We're off to a flying. It almost feels human, right? Like almost. Well, it won't once we get. No, it will. It will. Good afternoon, Alan. Thank you for saying so. And I've got to know, Alan, is that a background or are you literally outside the building right there? You could type the answer. You don't have to talk if you don't. But okay. Anyway, who else? Alexis, hello. Brandon, hello. Shirley, hello. Again, please, anybody, this is a good you'll have more opportunities, but this is a good opportunity to tell me when I'm mispronouncing your name. Okay, there's more in the chat hall. We will get started. You're gonna find I do. Wait, there's something in the chat. Hang on. Oh, that's fine. Oh, oh, I see. Yes. Good. Oh, yes. Good afternoon again. Yes. Yes. Good afternoon, direct chat person. I totally get it. In fact, I have to relog in a second too. I have to relog in my board. Bear with me for a second. Oh, yes. Okay. In fact, everybody, bear with me for a second because I also have to. I'm not going to log out, but I have to Right. I have to relog in my board. One moment, so that you know that you're in the right place. Which I think you are. This is Physics 203. We will confirm that. Oh, and someone else is here. We actually will get something done today. I promise. Besides just saying hello for a million years. Okay, okay. Who else are we? Hello, Christina. Oh, good morning, Christina. Again, please. This is hello, Alexis. If I didn't already say that, hello. Again, please correct my pronunciation of your name. You can do it in private chat. That's fine. It may take me a couple of times. I mean, I'm Yaverbaum. Like that is not easy to get right. As I'll point out in a minute, if it helps, it sort of rhymes with cadaver town, sort of, if that helps. Okay, hold on. I'm just joining my board here. We're gonna. Okay, here we come. Yes. Okay. Where did I go? Okay, so I know this takes over everything. I'll explain all this in a minute, but this is us. This is us. Okay. So first of all, this is this is Physics 203. It would be a weird place to stumble in by accident. But if you're looking for Physics 203, good. Welcome. You're in the right place. I'm Professor Yaverbaum. It will be meeting. We'll be meeting here at this time, Mondays and Wednesdays, in this Zoom room with me. If you're here, that me, and I'm going to check, who's here and who's not in a second. And I want to get to know you as real people. Believe me, that is definitely a goal of this. I know remote classes are remote. Direct chat. I'm definitely a big believer in the chat. Hang on one second. Okay. Oh, okay. I understand. Hold on one sec. Okay. I'm just looking at the chat. There's already things happening in the chat, so bear with me for a second. Okay. Just to get a little logistics out of the way. So if you're here at all, that means that you received the email last night, which is terrific. And it probably means that that you've already joined the Google Classroom. We'll find out that in a minute. That's terrific too, if you did. We're going to check on all that in a second. To make a couple of things clear, again, yes, there, as one of the emails, well, let me just ask, can you raise your hand or your electronic hand if you received two separate emails from me last night? Like, what? Yeah, it's a one. Okay, thank you, Cheyenne. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you, Josephine. Thank you, Shirley. Okay, great. And other people, thank you, all of you. Great. All right, so hopefully it made clear. Again, if you're here now, apparently some of the instructions were clear, so that's great. I consider it a major act of first success on your part, that you're in the right place at the right time. Yeah, hello, Shawnee, and thank you for saying hello. We're going to talk about these hellos in a minute. It's not even a joke. I really actually appreciate these hellos. It's part of the class. I'm very, very committed to the idea of making remote learning as real as possible for all of us. I know this is death on a stick. I understand that sitting through Zoom for 75 minutes is hard on everybody. It's harder on you than it is on me because I get to talk so much. That sort of keeps the time going for me and keeps me a little bit more alive. Therefore, you're going to find soon, you're going to see soon, I'm going to do everything in my power to encourage this to be as much about you as it is about me, to the extent that we can. The more anybody can actually like participate and stay alive and stay alert during this, the easier it will be on you, on everybody. So that's a long way of saying this, as you might gather. This is definitely synchronous learning. Like there will be times where I can't be here or something, where instead I'll warn you in advance and I'll say you're going to watch this video of me teaching instead, or something. Like occasionally that will happen when there are conflicts, but you'll know about them in advance and you'll even get extra points, you'll see, for even responding to my communications about those things. But in the main, for the large part, we're here together at this time, 12:15 to 1:30, Mondays and Wednesdays. There's no distinction between lecture and recitation in physics. It's just archaic terms. Hopefully both of these classes, Monday and Wednesday, will feel more like recitation to you, hopefully. But if they feel like lecture, I apologize. Either way, they're both the same. They're both me. They're both here. They're both, Mondays and Wednesdays are both devoted ultimately to trying to solve problems together, to go over problems from the homework after it's assigned, etc. So from here on in, it's all going under, everything that we do Mondays and Wednesdays all falls under the one big Google Classroom that I think you all signed up for. We'll check in a second. There's one Google Classroom file for everything that we do here Mondays and Wednesdays. And then there's a separate file for what you do in lab, and that's a different thing. Hold on, there's something in the chat. Let me just check the chat. Hang on. So I'm just trying to get logistics out of the way. Right. Hello. Oh, hello. Awesome. Okay. So today, we have a lot of logistics to go over. But also partly today is to get you kind of used to the routine of how I do things. Like, for one thing, you'll notice every Monday and Wednesday, there's a whiteboard like this. I mean, for good or for bad, I use a whiteboard like this. I will draw on it while I'm talking. It will always, on the first page, it will always have a couple of equations on the first page. Usually one equation is an equation where we just left off, or what we were right in the middle of the last class. And then the next equation is like where we're heading. That sort of provides you with an overview of what's going to happen that day. There's always a couple of equations on the front page. And then we start solving problems and going over things on the subsequent pages. Obviously, we don't, and we're going to even try to do that today. But here's my vital stats. Again, I'm Yaverbaum. It rhymes with cadaver town, sort of. I'm the coordinator of physics at John Jay. I've been at John Jay doing that job since 2011 or something like that. I love it at John Jay. I don't spend as much time on campus since COVID as I did before, but you can find me on the fourth floor at 046105, as it says in the new building. On the fourth floor, it's so easy to find where I am on the fourth floor that it's impossible to find. I'll just say this very quickly. It's not in the back with all the other labs. If you come out of the elevator on the south side, if you come out of the elevator on the men's bathroom side, and you just make a right out of the elevator and you start walking toward the jaywalk, like don't go into all the obvious back halls with back labs and all of that. Just walk to the jaywalk and you'll see on the right, there's a door right before the window to the jaywalk. Like there's a door that you would not necessarily think is there unless you happen to know it's there. And that's me. And you can visit, I encourage you to visit and so we can get to know each other as actual human beings from Tuesdays to 11, between 11 and 1. Sadly, I'm not on camp. I'm remote a lot these days. That's basically the best time to find me physically on campus. But you can always email me and we can set up a Zoom appointment or a phone appointment or something if you need help or support or whatever. At that email address, we'll talk about the other email addresses in a second. And that's my cell phone right there. We'll talk about that too. I encourage you to use it to text me. We'll talk about that, but I am a texter. I believe in texting for especially things that can be solved quickly. For short matters that can just be offloaded quickly, please do feel free to text me and just identify who you are the first time you text me. And the basic rule of thumb, oh my goodness, excuse me for a second. The basic rule of thumb is, oh my God, well, we're about to be interrupted. Excuse me, you're about to meet part of my family. Hold on a second. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to the beach now.
Yes, have a great time. You want to say hello to the class very quickly? Okay. Thank you. Awesome. All right. So that is it. Thank you. All right.
See,
Awesome.
don't listen to him. He has bad information.
Yes, that's right. Okay. So that was my son, ladies. One of my sons. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. What do you mean? What's Jesse?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Okay. All right. Honestly, because I'm not on campus as much as I would like, I want to be as available as possible. So do feel free to use texting as a mechanism. The rule of thumb for texting, and I really mean this, and you'll find a lot of students do take me up on this every semester, is as long as you can write a text to me that takes you longer to write than it will take me to respond. Like if it's a yes or no question, a multiple choice question, when is the exam, or can we make an appointment or whatever, as long as I can quickly answer it and reduce your stress level quickly, by all means text. But don't send me a text that says, I missed the last 4 weeks. Can you teach me the material here in the, or what did I miss? Like, no. Okay, but you get it. All right. So that's how to reach me. I'm going to pause for a second. I would like to obviously get to physics today, but let me see. First of all, let me just quickly, we'll talk about attendance and all that in a minute, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19. Okay. Bear with me for a second. Let's just see. What? Pardon me. Bear with me for a second. I'm sorry. Hello. Okay, slight tech. All right, well, okay. I want to get to the Google Classroom thing, but there's a slight technical difficulty now, so I'm going to pause on that for a moment. Well, all right. What is going on here? Actually, no, I'm not giving up. Okay. I should also say, literally right now, you're not going to believe me at first because why would you? But you'll see. I really want, the more you guys can talk or participate in various ways, which we will delineate, and the less that I'm just lecturing at you, honestly, the more enjoyable and better it is for everybody. Like, I mean, I think we all know that. The more you can stay awake and not, the more you can stay awake or get something out of this, just like the less deathly it is for you. So one reason I'm bringing that up again is you can interrupt me at any time, especially in the chat. I do talk quickly and I am a little bit all over the place. I'm a little spazzy in the way that I talk, as I'm sure you're already seeing. Believe me, there's a curriculum. Believe me, there are lesson plans. Believe me, there is solid material that we're going to get to and get through. And, and I've been doing this for over 30 years. It will be all about physics. But if you don't interrupt me, I'm just going to keep going and going and going. So at any time, you can put anything in the chat, particularly that even if it's like, wait, I thought we were going to discuss the exam. Weren't you going to say something about the exam? Or you mentioned that you were going to go over homework 1. It's not rude. And if you're slightly worried that what you're asking is an interruption or is rude, put in a direct chat. I'm a big believer in all the chat functions. Okay. And I'll say this right now too. If you put something in the chat, obviously everybody can see it. And I may get spazzy for a second. I may like suddenly go, oh, there's something in the chat, but that's fine. Like if I can't get to it right then, I'll get to it in 2 minutes. But I'll tell you right now, I think direct chat is actually one of the weird benefits that we get out of Zoom that we don't have in a physical classroom. Of course, I prefer the physical classroom. But if you really think about it, in a physical classroom, there's literally no way you could ever send a private message to a professor. Because even if you could call the professor over and like bend down and whisper something in the professor's ear, even if no one could hear what you're saying, everybody in the room would know that you're doing that. And that's awkward, to say the least, right? It's actually amazing that you can send messages to me and have none of your peers know that you did that. So feel free. And what I do with direct chat, just so you know right now, besides giving points for using it, which we'll talk about, and I see this chat, I'm going to get to the chat. I see there's great. I'm going to get to it in 1 second. I'm just going to say what I do with the direct chat is I read it for sure. And if I think and I will never read your name out loud. If you put something in the direct chat, I will never say it's this person. I might read the content out loud if I think it's really helpful to everybody. If I think you've taken a risk and asked a question that's really helpful to everybody, I might actually like share that question with everybody, but I won't say your name. Like, so please do it anytime. And I think it's happening right now. So I'm going to pause. Right. The more you can guide this class, once you know what it is you're trying to guide, the better we'll both be. So I'm going to look in the chat right now. Oh, I like chat too. Okay, cool. Awesome. Right. Great. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Paulina. And I'm saying their names because they went public, right? Okay. Good. Awesome, Christina. You're way ahead of me. Great. Great. I'm glad you guys are doing that. It's awesome. Yeah, good. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back to what I was saying a second ago, but just also so you know, I always have something to say. I always have more to say than I have time to say it. But like, that's why I do this for a living, or that's because I do this for a living. It's better. Don't think that just because I'm speaking quickly or that I'm steamrolling, don't think that means you got like that everybody has to make room for me to do that. It's just my nervous energy taking up the space that's there if other people don't talk. So if you redirect me, I'll go with a redirect. But until you do, I'm going to keep but that's great. I'm glad you're doing a WhatsApp group. We'll talk about that too. That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second and see if my Google Classroom did load. So let's just see what we got here. This is section 2, I believe, right? Yes. Just seeing. Okay. So I think I counted 19 people in the room. So if I call your name right now, that means I see you in Google Classroom, and that's like a way of saying, yay, thank you for joining. And this is also a rule of thumb for this whole class. If I ever call anybody's name or single anybody out, it's because I'm trying to say something positive. I don't think that I ever will publicly like single someone out to say something negative about that person. So for example, if I say your name right now, it just means I'm confirming that I have you in the Google Classroom, and that's great, and thank you. If you don't hear your name, that means maybe send me a private chat, or that means you haven't joined the Google Classroom yet, and we definitely need to do that, and it sort of needs to happen today. So if you don't hear your name, send me a direct chat or put a public chat like asking what I'm talking about. And if you, right, okay, so I got Logan, I've got Chris, I've got Claudia, I've got, and also if I mispronounce your name, please tell me. I've got Cheyenne, I've got Emily, I've got Paulina, I've got Josie, Stephanie, Alan, Katie, Nancy, Alexis, Victoria, Jada, Jenna, Eric, Shirley, Brandon, and Maria. That's awesome. In fact, that sounds like 19, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, all right. So I actually think I just named everybody in the room. Now, the real question is how many people are actually in this class? Probably 24. So probably 5 people are totally in the wins, but okay. So great. So you've all joined the Google Classroom. We're going to start going over those materials in there in a minute. And just raise your, how many people have ever used Google Classroom for anything? Like high school or something? Okay, many. Okay, great. Almost everybody who I can see is raising their hand. Okay, that's great. I'll say right now, from here on in, Blackboard is only a link to the Google Classroom. For good or for bad, I mean, it's partly an apology. I know it's annoying for you to have to deal with more than one platform in your life. And I know it's annoying when every different professor thinks they have a better idea than every other one. Like that would annoy me too as a student, but I will just tell you, we feel that Google Classroom works so much better for our purposes than Blackboard and we feel that students get pretty used to it pretty quickly and that it makes it worth it to have. So I apologize if you're all about Blackboard, just use Blackboard as a link to get you to this stuff. But from here on in, I'll never check Blackboard again, and you never need to check Blackboard again. It's all about Google Classroom from here on in. And if you have not used it, you can talk. Well, we're going to do a quick experiment today to make sure we're cool with it. But you can have it on your phone. You can set notifications. Blah blah. It's like Google. Like I don't need to tell you this. It's just much more. I don't know. I think it's much more user friendly. But what do I do? So I'm just babbling. Where do we go? So you're all on the Google Classroom. All right. I do want to get to physics today. The overall summary of physics is all of it is, it's ultimately about motion. Everything in physics is about motion. Physics 203 and Physics 204 are both about motion. Specifically, and I know many of you have seen physics before in high school. I understand that, but nonetheless, physics is about the motion of stuff, of things through space and time. Everything in physics ultimately comes down to things in space and time, which is why, and specifically, and you might even want to make a note of this. I didn't write this on the board, but specifically, any motion that is measurable, reproducible, analyzable, and predictable falls within the domain of physics. Let me say that again. I would encourage you to write this down. And I will also say, when I get to this whole issue of participation and points and all that, this is an example saying if you write this down, you can get points for it, believe it or not. If you write something down that's not on the board. So we'll talk about that. But so here, let me just say that again. Any motion that is measurable, reproducible, analyzable, meaning mathematically analyzable, and predictable falls within the realm of physics. So that's what physics is at any level in any sub-branch of physics. Physics is and you can write this down too. Physics is ultimately all about where is something when. It's it. It's about predicting where a thing will be at a future moment in time, or predicting at what future time something will be at a particular location. Now, that's classical physics. Classical physics is about predicting the future space-time coordinates of points of mass. That's what classical physics is about. Where will this thing be when? Forensic physics, criminalistics, like like modern criminal justice, John Jay 21st century crime solving physics is often about not predicting, but retrodicting where something was when, right? If you really think about it, and you've probably thought about this in one way or another before, but maybe not exactly this way. Physics is all about what are the space-time coordinates of some particle. When you're doing like Newtonian physics, or the physics that we're largely going to do in this class, when you're doing sort of original classical physics, you're figuring out where some cannonball is going to be when, or where some planet is going to be when, or when some cannonball will reach the other side of the battlefield or whatever. But now when you're crime solving, when you're doing forensics physics, it's actually the other way around if you think about it. You're saying, well, if the bullet was here now, where must have the bullet come from 5 minutes ago, or something to that effect, right? But if that makes sense. But everything in physics is about where something will be when. And the difference between physics 203 and physics 204, physics 204 is a lot more mathematically advanced, to be sure. But the reason for that is the basic difference between the two courses is just in how we define things. The things of physics 203 are all ultimately what we would call particles, discrete, identifiable, separatable, countable objects, whether they be electrons or bullets or planets or tennis balls or ice skaters or whatever, things moving through space and time macroscopically is what we're talking about in physics 203. And of course, it gets very mathematical very quickly. That's what we have to get to in a moment. But that's the overarching summary of the course of what we're here to do. And we're going to start doing it through problem sets and exams and all that stuff. Again, today's sort of like the layout everything day, so I'll get to all that. But that's what we're here to do, is studying things through space and time. And it all comes down to something that simple. Physics, you may have heard that physics is not easy. You may have had an experience in high school where physics was not easy, or since you all are science students and you're here and you're in the forensics track with the calculus track, which is great, and you've already jumped through a lot of hard hoops in your science and math careers, you may have found physics easy. I don't know. I mean, either way. But people often talk about physics as though it's hard. It may well be. I'm not here to say that physics is easy. I think it's a lot easier than people think in a lot of unexpected ways, but then it also sneaks up on people and becomes hard in ways that they didn't expect. The thing about physics in the end, whether you find it easy or hard, and hopefully you'll find it easier than you expect, the thing about physics in the end is what it isn't is complex. What it is simple. Physics, simple is not the same thing as easy. Simple means very few parts. Complex means very many parts. Biology and chemistry can get, especially organic, can get very complex. There's many details to manage in biology and chemistry. I find it overwhelming personally, right? But some people find it okay. Some of you, many of you probably did very well in biology and chemistry because you found a way to manage all those details, and that's terrific. And in some, well, I don't want to get all off the topic, but complex things can be manageable for certain kinds of people who are organized, who are enthusiastic, who are curious, etc. In physics, we don't have a lot of details to manage, certainly not in this course. Some of you might even be disappointed to find out we're not going to end up getting a huge list of formulas or equations. You're not going to have to memorize a lot, very little actually. We're going to have very few pieces to deal with, but what we're going to have to do is deal with those pieces a lot. Physics comes down to three fundamental pieces: things, space, and time. It's why everything in the measurement system can come down to kilograms, meters, and seconds. Okay, but to analyze something means to break it apart. Analyzing complex things can sometimes be easy and manageable or accessible to people because complex things have a lot of parts to break apart. Simple things don't have a lot of parts. So quick example that I often use. I mean, often in the past, I've asked people in the room to, wait, do I want to do this right now? No, I'm just going to say this quickly. Often in the past, just because I want to get on, but in the past, I've often done this thing on the first day, particularly when we're in person, where I'll ask everybody in the room to give me a definition of a unicorn. And I usually get, and maybe you want to think about that for a second. I'm just saying, consider, and you can put in the chat if you want. I'm just trying to make a quick point here. A unicorn. I often ask people, what's a unicorn? And I often get a lot of answers that are very, very similar and very confident and very fast, such as an imaginary horse with a horn on top of its head, right? And if you were thinking anything like, and this is not a matter of right or wrong, but I'm just saying a lot of people are not worried about answering the question, what's a unicorn? They're like, it's a horse with a horn. And like it jumps over rainbows, and it's like usually in anime, not in real life or something, right? Whatever. And that's fine. How did you define a unicorn? You broke it down into parts: horse, horn, rainbows. But if I then ask, which I used to do, if I then ask, okay, great, what's a horn? That usually causes a lot more of a long pause and a lot more head scratching and a lot more weird, different answers. If I ask you, what's a horn? I get all kinds in the past. I've gotten all kinds of different answers when people eventually felt comfortable answering. It's a lot, right? And people will start saying really complicated things in biology that I don't understand, like things about cartilage or this or that. But then other people will just talk about the geometric shape. They'll be like, well, it's a conic section where the locus of points is equidistant in 3 dimensions from the earth. Like things get crazy fast. If I just add, or then other people will be like musical about it. Well, it's, it's something where you put your lips around and then you vibrate this and then, you can call everybody to prayer or something. Like horn is much harder to get your mind around, to get my mind around than unicorn. Because unicorn is complex. It's a thing made of many parts. If we want to get our head around it, we break it into parts. But once we're down to the parts, like horn, then we're like, I'm not quite sure what to do now. I mean, where do I break this thing? Right? So I'm just trying to say the thing about physics, physics can be a lot easier, and I hope it will be. And we're here to succeed. We're not here to fail. I'll talk about that too. I want you guys to succeed. I want this to be an enjoyable and successful experience for as many of you as possible. One warning in advance about physics, if you've ever heard that it's hard, it doesn't need to be as hard as people say. But it's helpful to know going in that what maybe makes it hard is that it's not complex. Don't look for complexity. Don't try to memorize your way through it. Don't wait for a ton of formulas that you like that. It's not going to be that approach. It's more the approach of, can we get our minds around these seemingly simple building block notions of space, time, velocity, distance. Like that's what makes, okay, it's challenging because it's simple, not because it's complex. I'm just saying, okay. I'm babbling a lot, so I'm going to shift gears here. I'm babbling too much. So let's talk about what's like due. Like since you're all in the Google Classroom, I'm going to switch boards for a second, probably, and share the Google Classroom. I mean, I would imagine you might be wondering, like, what's due tomorrow and how would we do it and stuff like that. Fair question. All right, so I'm just going to, let me just switch screens here. Now, in a minute, I'm going to share my Google Classroom on the screen with you. Okay, sorry. You could follow along on your own. Mine will look a little different because obviously there's some files and stuff that haven't been released to your side yet, so it'll look a little different. But hopefully, and stop me at any time if anything and again, even stop me if you're just like, yes, this makes sense what you're saying, but it's not really what I was like looking to know today. What I really need to know is blah. Like, stop me if you have something like that. Okay, so hopefully now you see, yeah. All right, now you see. Okay, so this is the classwork piece of Google Classroom. So first there's the Zoom link. This is what we're always going to meet. Okay, then you see YouTube classes. Let me clarify. Let me take a moment to talk about that. That's my YouTube channel right there. You can go there and check it out. And if you check it out, and obviously this is not, I don't make money off it or anything. Like, it's totally just it's meant to support your learning and it's meant to make all this remote learning more manageable. So if you go to that channel at your leisure, you will see that there's a lot of playlists for a lot of Physics 203 classes, full semesters of Physics 203 from past semesters, going all the way back to basically the beginning of COVID. You're welcome to check those out at any time or not. But what you'll see if you go back and check those, what you'll see is that that's what we're doing here. Like for good or for bad, every single one of these classes that we do online, I do record and then I upload like at night, so right now we're recording this for your benefit. I think I have found that it is for your benefit. I'm recording material in case you walk away in the middle, in case you miss something, in case you're not here today, blah, 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 or in case it went too fast. Once we get into the actual stuff, I'm recording it. I will upload it to YouTube tonight, and then it'll be linked in your Google Classroom. So every single class, you'll get a full recording of the whole class. And you can obviously rewatch them before exams and stuff like that. And if any class is sort of unclear, you can also watch a class from the other section if maybe I said something more clearly there, or you can go back and find things from past semesters. Like it's all for you. The drawback of that is I know that for some of you, therefore, that might make you feel less comfortable about participating. I recognize that. I understand that. And that's why no participation is mandatory. All participation is encouraged in the point system that I'm about to show you in a minute. But there's a million ways to participate in this class. Some of them could even include quiet note-taking or quiet direct chatting. Like I understand that some of you don't want to be on recordings with other people or whatever. But there's a million different ways that I try to reward or incentivize any different way that you're comfortable with participating. Of course, the more that you actually can. I mean, no one else watches these things besides John Jay students who need them. As you can imagine, like who would watch this? But anyway, the fact is, if you're missing anything right now, if your Wi-Fi connection is going down, if I'm talking too fast, all of it will be uploaded to you tonight, and every single class will, and it sort of ends up. So yeah, and you can also take sneak peeks from past semesters, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that's number one. Similarly, this whiteboard that is being shared, or was being shared a second ago, anything I write on the whiteboard, the minute class is over, I will upload it as a PDF right here in this section. There's one already there just from last semester, just as a placeholder, just to show you that that's how it works. But of course, they get longer and longer and more mathematical from here on in. I still highly encourage you to take your own notes for 1,000 reasons. And there's incentives for that as well. But at a minimum, from every single class, you'll get a video recording of the class and you'll get a PDF of whatever notes I wrote down. All right, then we get to this business. That's like the weirdest in a way, perhaps, or maybe the most unusual. Okay, we have different homework, that's due in this class. We have real homework due tomorrow. I hope to start you off with momentarily. We have real homework, that homework number 1 called number line, that's due tomorrow. It's worth points. I'm going to talk about the whole point system like right now. Just in case we get cut off or you get cut off or something, homework, the thing I'm looking at the screen, I'm going out of order for a minute, so bear with me. Homework 1 number line is due tomorrow. It is due tomorrow. It is worth, I think, 20 points. I'll explain where the points go in a second. I'm going to try to start guiding you through it. I'm going to try before this class is over to start telling you exactly what I'm looking for in that homework. But if I don't fully finish that explanation, I will say right now, your job is you should know that all the information you need to do that first homework is provided in the homework sheet itself. It's about using definitions. All the definitions are provided in the sheet. You don't have to do any outside reading or textbook reading or anything like that. We'll talk about that too. This course is not very textbook driven. Any outside resources you ever want to use, you're welcome to, including like Khan Academy, including all that is fine, but none of that is required. Whatever you need to do this sheet is provided in the sheet. You're going to do your best to hand in a separate blank homework submission. Like don't write on this sheet itself. You're going to create a different document, like a blank white piece of paper. I'll explain this in details in a second. And you're going to try your best to show all work to proceed according to a 5-step problem-solving method that is a huge emphasis of this class. It's a way of telling you to show all work and all thought processes in a highly organized way. You're going to, and the 5-step method is provided here in tools right after the syllabus, okay? I'm going to try to explain all this today. I'm going to try. If I don't finish everything, I'll finish it on Wednesday, but it's all here. There's a 5-step method that tells you what I'm looking for when you do work. You're going to attempt to deploy that 5-step method to create your own responses to the first homework that's due tomorrow. You're going to find, I think, that most of the exercises or the questions in the first homework, like until you get right to the end, most of them are pretty fast, pretty straightforward. I'm not going to say they're easy because I don't know what's easy to one person and easy to another, but I will say they're pretty short questions. I will say that maybe even some of them, some people might get wrong, but they're still not going to be stressed out by them. They're going to like think they know what they're doing, right? I think the last couple of questions are a little bit maybe more stressful, but most of the questions are very straightforward. And a lot of you are going to feel like you can get the answers to a lot of those questions in your head, like right away. I believe you, and you're probably right that you probably can. I'm still going to ask you on purpose for this first assignment that is not meant to be hard. It's meant to be a first attempt on your part to see how to show all work in the way that I want, to see how to show all work when things seem somewhat not that stressful. Let me put this a different way. Some of you are going to feel like there's no work to show. Some of you are going to feel like I'm wasting your time asking you to show work on questions that are very straightforward. Again, I'm hopefully going to get to an exam. Oh, there's something in the chat. I'll get that in a second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. I'll get it in 1 second. Some of you are going to feel like you're like beating an ant with a sledgehammer, trying to show work for things that you just see in your head. I respect that. I believe that. But I'm going to ask you nonetheless to do it, because what I'm asking you to do here is look in your own, when you do something really fast in your head, what I'm asking you to do is look inside your own head and see what it is that you did so quickly. Like, see what the steps are that went lightning speed in your head and write those steps down according to the 5-step method, including, for example, providing a diagram or whatever. So some of you are going to feel like I'm slightly making things harder than I should at the beginning. I am. But the whole idea is that you get used to the method of showing work on something where the work doesn't seem that hard, so that when you get to work that does seem hard, or where you can't see the answers in your head right away, then you've got a method that you've practiced that you know how to do, okay? So I'm going to get back to this in more detail, but what I'm really trying to say, and then I'll get to the chat. Tomorrow, you're going to do homework 1, number line. You're going to try your best by consulting the 5-step method tool. You're going to try your best on a separate document. I'll say this clearly. You're going to take out, most of you, some of you might just open up a new Google Doc or something and just do it right there, maybe. But many of us are still not comfortable doing math or physics like on a keyboard. I'm not. So what most of us would do is take out white blank. I'm going to pause right now because I'm talking so much. Hold on a second. I will say that, but let me just look in the chat because I probably just steamrolled someone in the chat. Hold on. Oh, right. Okay, great. Thank you, Nancy. That's exactly, okay. Perfect question. All right, let me slow this down. And I'm going to say this again, believe me. And many of us will get this wrong on the first night, and it's okay. But here, right. Whenever we have homework from here on in, the real homework, like the physics problem solving homework, and whenever we have exams from here on in, what you're going to do is you're going to look at a copy. You might want to print out a copy of the questions for your own sake. But you're never going to make a copy and turn it into me. What you're always going to do, and we're going to practice today, believe me, what you're always going to do, all of you, is you're going to take out a separate set of blank white sheets of paper, and you're going to like pretend they're a blue book, like an exam blue book. You're going to take out separate white sheets of paper, and you're going to write out your responses to the homework questions. You're going to write them out in a way that makes the questions clear. We're going to talk about that in a second. That's part of the 5-step method. You're going to make it super clear to me at all times what question you're answering, what the question is asking. But you're going to do it all in your own words. That's actually part of the exercise. It's all going to seem really annoying to a lot of you right at first. It will. It's not meant to be annoying, but it will seem annoying at first. You're going to take out separate white sheets of paper. You're going to do out the homework, making all the questions clear, drawing diagrams, showing your thought process, circling the final answer, and you're going to have all these sheets of white paper where you did out all the physics, and then you're going to scan or take pictures of all the pages, and you're going to compile all the pages into one document, either one Google Doc or one PDF. Some of you don't know how to do that. I will show you, or in your WhatsApp thing, you'll show each other. But yes, all this takes a little getting used to. It's a little bit specialized for physics, I know, but it is what it is. You're going to do all this stuff out on separate white sheets of paper, then scan it in, make one file of all the pages, one file of all the pages, and you're going to upload that to the Google Classroom assignment portal. You're not going to give me the original questions. I already have the original questions. You're not going to copy and there's reasons for all this. I promise you'll see. But basically, this is all practice for your actual exam. You're going to make the questions clear. You're going to show that you know what the question is in your own words on these separate pieces of paper. And you're going to upload all that as one file to me. And or those of you who are comfortable typing out physics and math and stuff, fine. You'll just type it out into a separate, fresh Google Doc or whatever. That's fine too, or a Word doc or whatever. But right, you're never going to give me a cut and paste or copy paste version of my questions. You're going to show in a separate document that the questions are clear. The litmus test, and this is all how we do exams, so it's all like practice for the exams. And ultimately, I think it's practice for like life and publication and physics research, or science research. But none of it's arbitrary, I promise you that. Your litmus test when you do homework and exams is you're trying to provide a document that anybody who understands physics but isn't necessarily in this class, that anybody who, like any of my colleagues who know physics, but aren't necessarily with us in this Zoom room, that they could take your document and they could read it and follow it, and they could mark it. They could be like, yes, that's true. No, that's false. Oh, that equation is wrong. Oh, she shouldn't have done that here. He shouldn't have done that there. Like, you're going to provide, your whole goal with every homework assignment you do in every exam is to provide a document that is independently sensible and readable to anybody who knows physics, if that makes sense. And that's part of why we do it this way. You want to show us that you understand the questions in your words, not give us back and then answer them. Okay. And it's all according to this 5-step method, which I'll show you. But okay. So did that answer the question? Wait. Okay, wait. Oh, this is great. I'm looking at the chat. Okay, I'll pause. These are great questions. Because I could tell by the questions that you're like listening to me and with me. So that's great. So all right. So, okay, wait. Oh, there's a lot in the chat. Great. All right. So to Nancy, right. Don't make a copy. Correct. So we're doing the homework. Okay. You're doing the homework question. Most of you, I'm not, well, and there's a couple of questions on this. Okay. Hey, does it have to be white? That's funny. Well, I don't know if it's funny, but I'm saying most people, the recommended way is that you'll take out separate paper and you'll do it on separate paper with a pen or a pencil, and then you'll scan it in. And white. And I recommend getting used to I would recommend that it be blank. Well, it has to be blank. Let me put it that way. I'm not getting all into whether it's lines or it's graph paper or if it's black, whatever, but it does have to be blank. In other words, it's not on the sheet itself. Now, I'm not saying it can't be digital. You can do this digitally. Some of you, a lot of people still are not comfortable doing that because it's like equations and diagrams and all that. No, but if you're comfortable, if you're savvy enough to do it digitally, you can do this all digitally. But the thing that I'm emphasizing is even if you do it digitally, it has to be a separate document. You're never turning back to me my original questions. Whatever you do is in effect a blue book that you created, that I could read, or that like Professor Walters could read, or Professor Talley could read, look, I'll put it in an even more blunt way. Honestly, what you're trying to do is create a document for me that I can grade as quickly and easily and follow as easily and generously as possible. You want to make it as easy on me, as easy on the reader as possible to follow your work. So the more other things I have to consult while looking at your work, the more hard that is and the less of a communication exercise that was on your part. So I'm not saying it can't be digital. I'm just saying don't take my some people are clever enough to take my questions and then digitally spread them out and start sticking responses into the question. Don't do that, please, because that doesn't show that you know what the questions are. It just shows that you possess the questions. So, okay, I'm still in the chat, but these are great questions. And even if I say no, it doesn't mean it's not a great question. Can you upload a notebook page? Yes. Yeah, you can upload a notebook. I think I understand that question. Yes, you can upload a notebook. And we're going to practice this. Believe it or not, we're literally going to practice this in a minute with an easier assignment. Also, I'm going to say, in case we get cut off, these are great questions. Today's overview, I'm trying to welcome you in and all that. And yes, this thing is due Wednesday. I'm going to tell you right now, especially with the first assignment, but even with others, with this first assignment, you're going to make an attempt. And yes, I'm going to look to see who attempted to get this thing in on time and actually try and actually show work and actually try to follow instructions. But all of you, if you get anything, and 20 is the most points that you can get on this one, I think. I think full credit is 20 points. I'm telling you right now, if any of you on this first assignment like didn't understand the instructions or did things wrong or this or that, you're going to get a chance to revise and re-upload. Everybody's eventually going to get a 20 on this assignment. Okay, just raise your hand if you heard me say that. Wait, raise your hand if you hear me say that. Okay, great. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Maria. Okay. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Nancy. Okay. So what we wanted, and we just don't want to fall behind. Obviously, like there's going to be more assignments, stuff like that. So you want to put your best foot forward and try to get this right for Wednesday. But if you don't, you will not be punished. We're trying to establish now how all of this works. Oh, and I'll get back to chat. The reason I'm spending so much time on it, I know it's a little bit unique to physics. Again, I mean, this is like over 30 years of thought put into, we've tried a lot of different things. I think in the long run, this really works best for people in the long run. But for whatever it's worth, everything I'm telling you right now that we're expecting about how to do physics also exactly applies to physics 204. If this feels like a big waste of time or a big like weirdness, I can respect that, but I'm actually laying out the groundwork and the expectations for the next 2 semesters for you. And in 204, you'll likely have me again, just so you know. So it's worthwhile getting all this straight right now. So I'm going to go back to the chat. Back to the chat. Are we going to have to do the, sorry, there's something in the direct, all the homework has to be handwritten. Hopefully I answered. The answer is no, it does not have to be handwritten. I think for a lot of us it's recommended, but no, it does not. It just, you can't type on my sheets. Also, wait. Okay. So Nancy, are we gonna have to do the 5-step method? Yes. The 5-step method and all these details that I'm giving you right now, honestly, and the point of a lot of these homeworks is to get this all straight and practiced and ironed out before we get to an exam, because this is the way the exam works. Yes. And the 5-step method is not only my highest encouragement to you of how best to do physics problems, and believe me, again, it's years in the making. The point of the 5-step method, it always seems like a stupid drag when you're doing things that you know how to do. To everybody, it seems like a stupid drag when you're answering questions that you already know the answers to. But the whole purpose of the method is for that day that always eventually comes to everybody in physics, where they get a question that not only do they not know what the answer is right away, but they're not even sure that they know what the question means, and they don't know how to approach it, and they're freaked out. And often this happens on exams. People get questions. They're like, I don't even know what he's talking about here. Like, what is this? The purpose of the 5-step method is to give you a path to follow. Literally what it is what to do when you don't know what to do, which eventually does start happening in physics, particularly on exams. And the purpose of the 5-step method is not only a suggestion to you or a command to you of what to do, but it's how I grade. It's my grading rubric. So the purpose of it is if you get it down early before the exams, then you get tons and tons. It's a way of ensuring that you will get tons and tons of points on exams, even when you don't have the right answer, even when you don't finish things. It's a way of making sure that you can have a lot of success and a lot of points, like good grades, even when you're feeling tentative or not complete. So yes. So the answer is yes. The 5-step method is for exams. So it's best to get it. And then, okay, to clarify, it can be physical or digital. Yes, it can be physical or digital. Yes, yes. Thank you. And all the stuff that's in the chat, you're all getting points for this. If you've been in the chat at all today, you should take a screenshot of wherever you've been in the chat, because I'm going to tell you what, all of you who are in the chat are going to submit this for points, various different points that will count in your grade. I'm going to explain that. You might be able to infer that already from the Google Classroom, but all of this. Okay, then there's a good question, and I'm watching the clock. I do want to, but again, I'd rather answer your questions than me just talk. Someone's asking in direct chat, are exams synchronous? That's a great question. That's a very important question. And the answer is no, they're not. And we don't have one just yet. I don't want to get too bogged down in exams yet, but we'll have one midterm. Wait, hold on. Raise your hand if you can hear me right now. Just want to make sure, because I know people. Okay. So yes, I'm jumping around, but I'm just trying to answer these questions. Today is about hopefully trying to reduce stress level. So thank you. All right. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Logan. Thank you, everybody. So as far as exams, just quick overview of exams. we have 2 exams in this portion of well, we have 2 exams, 1 midterm, 1 final. An example of a midterm, a practice midterm, has already been posted in the Google Classroom. Not that you should start studying or preparing at all for it. You shouldn't, but just to give you a sense so you're not surprised. The one main thing I'm going to say about exams right now is both the midterm and the final are totally take home, totally not synchronous, totally open universe exams. And that always shocks people. And that's true in 204 as well. We'll talk more about that when we get there. If you think you just misheard me, or you think you're misunderstanding something, or you think I just said something crazily, stupidly generous, like I'm a complete sucker, then you are hearing me correctly. But you're not right, but you're hearing me correctly. Meaning, let me say again, when it comes time for an exam, it's more like an essay in a history class or something, or a research project. You're going to take it home. You're going to have like 3 nights to do it. You won't be taking it under test conditions. You will be able to walk back and forth to it. You will have all the resources of the universe at your disposal, including your notes, the YouTube files, the internet, Khan Academy, whatever. Now, I'll also just quickly tell you that doesn't mean that everybody gets an A on these exams. It doesn't. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. But it does mean that what an exam is like a big packet of like homework problems strung together that you have to do as properly and clearly and thoroughly and persuasively as possible. So all these things that we're doing on the homework is to practice for that experience. Exam is like a big homework packet in a way. You're even allowed to talk with one another, believe it or not. We'll get to that. It all sounds like a sucker kind of thing on my part. It all sounds like a gift. It kind of is, but it kind of isn't. We'll talk about it. But exams are not synchronous, to answer your question. Exams are not synchronous. Exams are like, so that's why the whole 5-step problem method is so, 5-step method is so important, because by the time you take an exam in this class, it's not going to be an issue of whether you have the right answers or not. I'm going to have given you half of the answers in advance before you even take it. You're going to know that I know that you know the answers before you take the exam. It's going to be about proving that you understand where the answers came from, which is where the method comes in. So I don't know if that makes it better or worse, but the flip side of that is you get tons and tons of credit on exams for work. It's not all about the final answers. And the 5-step method is the grading rubric for the work that you show, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm sorry. It's 1:13. I do want to, okay. So exams are not synchronous. Okay. Is it okay? Oh, I love PDFs. Ideal documents that you hand in ideally will be PDFs. And again, we're supposed to practice that in a minute today. Hopefully we'll get to that. But yeah, Google Docs are fine too. But the exam, I mean, the documents that are the easiest for me to mark up on my tablet are PDFs. Like that's my ideal, please. Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Now, how long? Well, Nancy, that's a fair question. Okay. So Nancy's asking how long after we submit our assignments will we get a grade? It varies. It's not all, sometimes it's very quick. Sometimes it's longer than it should be. We'll talk about that. I'm not always great about that. You'll have everything you need in time to take an exam. You won't be left in the dark, but we'll talk about that. Sometimes it's quick. At the beginning, it's quick. Then it gets a little rocky, but we'll talk about that. But yes, I want to make sure you understand the questions you're asking us. Yes. If you use GoodNotes or Notability, use it. Oh, cool. All right. Thank you, Shawnee. All these little things that you guys are helping each other and answering each other's questions, those are different ways that you're going to get points. They're all great that you're helping each other. You'll see. But so thank you, Shawnee. Nancy. Yeah, interesting that Nancy's calling the 5-step method, like she's saying it's like an extra credit thing. You're going to see, if I ever get through all of this, you're going to see that a huge amount of this entire grading system for physics, you could arguably call, there's a huge amount of what you might call extra credit. Huge. A lot of your grade is determined by what you might call extra credit, which means good and bad. There's a lot of points, like all this participation stuff, all the homeworks technically are extra credit. Because, I don't want to get it, I do have to get into this in a minute. The idea behind the class is that there's more than one possible path to an A. In fact, let me back up and say another important thing about that. The first idea behind the class is you're not competing for A's here. Let me say this very clearly. You'll hear me say it a lot. I do not have a limited number of A's to submit to CUNY first. As far as I'm concerned, if you all got A's, that would be great. It might mean that I might make the course a little harder next semester for the next group or something like that, but that's it. Like as far as I'm concerned, I want you all to get A's. It's not only like the top 2 people get A's or something like that. I say that to enforce to you, this class is not about competition. It's about collaboration. If you help each other, if Nancy helps Alan get an A, that does not threaten Nancy's A. In fact, if Nancy is visibly trying to help Alan get an A, in fact, it's in this class, it increases the probability that she get an A. And I'm not kidding. We'll talk more about the details of that, but so all of this, so I'll say very quick, well, sorry, I'm getting myself all. The grading system is designed so that those of you who are amazing test takers, if you just take the test and you rock them and you know your physics or you remember it from high school or whatever, and you rock the test, then fine. If you get like 95s on both exams and you get a 95 in lab, then you'll have an A in the class, even if you never do any of this homework or any of this participation or stuff. If that's one way to get an A. But the other thing is that in other words, you don't get zeros for not handing in homework, and you don't get zeros for not participating. You never get punished for not participating or not turning in homework. But every time you get a homework point or every time you participate in various ways, you get points for that. So you can call and that's the same thing with the 5-step method and all that. So you can call all these points extra if you like. Some people do, because they're not mandatory. They are extra. However, I will tell you, when you fully see the whole grading system, at the end of the semester, the average person tends to get the average person tends to get like somewhere between 8 and 12 points added to their exam average before the grade goes in to CUNY first. So if you ended up getting 74 as your exam average, if you do all the homework and you participate a lot, it's highly conceivable that even though your exam average is a 74, you might end up with an 86 even before I then give you 1 extra point for good citizenship, which is like another thing. You may end up with an 86, even though your exam average is a 74. And obviously that's the difference, or even better, like a 72 to an 84. So, that's the difference between a C- and a B, right? That's a substantial difference. And that difference, and you can make the same argument for B's to A's or whatever. So there are many people in this room that are not good test takers or will struggle maybe on the first midterm or something, but will totally ensure themselves a really good grade by doing tons of homework and tons of participation. And yes, all of it, you could call extra credit because you don't have to do any of it, but it makes a huge difference in your grade if you want it to. So, okay, sorry. I know I'm starting to, I want to answer everything and I'll show you how that works. I know I'm talking in big, vague terms right now, but I will show you. Yeah. So to Alan's question, everything in this class, besides exams, almost everything in this class is extra credit. And there's tons of opportunities, including including Alan's question in the chat, just got him various points that I'll show you in a minute. But yes, there's tons of ways to get points in this class outside the exams. There's so many ways that I don't even think of them as extra credit. I just think of them as credit. But yeah, they're not mandatory. So yes, to Alan's question. One way, I'll tell you right now, because these are great questions. I hope you can tell I like all these questions. One way of getting points is not only asking a question in chat, but then say I answer a question in chat. So you can submit, you'll see in a minute, you can submit a screenshot of any question you ask in chat and you get points for that. Then if I answer it, and then you say, okay, got it, thanks. That's called closing a conversational path. You'll see there's a portal for that. So not only can you submit your question to one portal, I forget what it's called, but not only can you submit a question in one portal, but you could submit the exact same screenshot or the exact same question once you followed up and showed me that you understood my answer and it worked for you and it's okay and we can move on. That's called closing a conversational path. You can submit that in another portal. If someone else answered your question, if they're like, oh yeah, Alan, he already said that, blah, 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 that's called multiplayer co-op, and you could submit that in a portal for points. Like every different possible way that I can ever think of that someone might be doing something helpful to contribute to keeping this whole group alive and in discourse, every possible way I can think of that someone could engage in a moment, there's a portal for it where you can submit and you'll get points for that. I have to explain in more detail exactly how that works, but all these things, whatever you're doing in the chat right now, please like screenshot it or something, because you'll see it is extra credit. Okay, sorry. Okay, but I'm starting to run out of time. Okay. Well, all right. I'm going to quickly answer Maria's question because it's a fair question. Of course, people always are worried about this. How long are the exams? But the quickest answer I could say is if you look at the practice exam in the Google Classroom right now, that gives you a pretty good idea. I'll change it somewhat for your semester, but it's basically exams are like 3 long multi-part problems, and you usually have like 3 or 4 nights to do them. I will be much more detailed about that when we get closer to it, but I'll also say that you usually have a practice exam in advance that does not count for a grade at all. I mean, that's why I've already posted one. I might tweak it, but you'll see an exam in the Google Classroom that's meant to be super close to the actual exam you're going to take. And you can, and sometimes we even have time to go over them in lab periods or something like that. So by the time you get to the exam, you won't have any surprises. There's not meant to be, well, I shouldn't say that, but basically the exam is not supposed to be a surprise. You'll know exactly what to expect before you get there. And you can also always watch all the past YouTubes or whatever when I'm going over them. There's no hide the ball, but I'll be more, so I'm just being quick about that now because I want to get back to other things. But yeah, you'll have like 4, but again, if I'm answering anybody's question, put in the chat that I answered your question, and that's helpful. Yeah. Yeah. And okay, good question in the direct chat. Yes, there's another section of 203 that meets at 305. Same exact class, different section. I won't be, and I'll be recording them as well. Yes, I won't be putting their links directly in your classroom because that confuses people. But they will all be in a playlist on YouTube. So you absolutely can at any moment watch the other, or if you miss or something, yes, you can totally watch any YouTube from the other section as well. Yes. Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. And thank you for those who are acknowledging in the chat. Now, we are starting to run a little bit on time, but these are great questions. What I'm going to ask you to do right now, all right. So I didn't really, I was hoping to sort of go over the 5-step method today and sort of go over physics equation stuff. I don't think there's going to be time to do that. Again, you're just going to do your best. Like, look at the 5-step method in the tools, take out a separate piece of paper and try that homework 1. Try your best. You're trying to emphasize as much detail as possible. The more easy you think a question is, the more take the opportunity to break down the question into the steps. Even if if you're starting to get bored, okay, you're bored, but that's better than being confused, right? Like, so just try your best and know your goal is to have a thorough attempt at homework 1, handed in the correct format by Wednesday. If there's mistakes or flaws, you'll just consider most homeworks ultimately are first drafts. Okay, you're not going to die on the hill of this homework. You'll be able to get more points back later. Just try. Okay, that's homework 1. Then, also note, I know in the file, let me see if I can do this. I know in the file, somehow in that PDF of the assignment, there's like a paragraph that came up as garbage. I don't know why, because it's not on my side, but I know it comes up as garbage on your, I mean, at worst or at best, just ignore that garbage and I apologize, but I have a screenshot of what it's supposed to say. If I can put it in the, I'm going to just try really quickly if I can. If I can't, it's not a big deal. All right. In fact, where's the chat? Okay. If this works, I don't know why that happened. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. This screenshot that I just put in the chat, I don't know if you want to I don't know what you can do with it. I assume you can download it to your side. And then that's whatever the garbage, if you see garbage in the middle of your sheet, this is what it's supposed to say. Okay. And you probably could live without it, but just, okay. That's number 1. Number 2, with like 6 minutes left, here's what we're going to do. So that I can really make it clear to you how all this participation works. Let's go. I'm going to scroll back now. You see that there's a game turn 1 due tonight at 11:59 p.m. Every day we have class, there will be a turn due at midnight of that night. Like tomorrow or Wednesday will be turn 2, etc. It's always a turn in the game is always the same thing. And we're all going to do it together in a moment right now. The idea in the game of the turn, and this is technically all optional. If you just never do this, I don't punish you. I don't care. You just never get these points. Oh, someone's already done it. That's great. Okay. We'll see in a second. All you do, and it's the same instructions every time, you open up a new Google Doc or something, you just right here, and I'm going to ask you to try to do it right now, all of you, to make sure we're in communication and Google Classroom's working and all that. Any one of you who participated in any way at all today, including if you said hello at the beginning of the class, right? If you did, which I do encourage, we're going to say hello to each other every day because we're humans. If you even said hello, you just open a Google Doc right now in this portal, and you just like type in like, today I said hello in class, boom, all right? Or if you did something more elaborate and you have a screenshot, submit the screenshot, whatever. Just anything you did, please right now as practice, submit right now. Like normally you'll do this after class, you'll do it before midnight. But let's see if we're all on the same page. If you can submit, and if you didn't say anything in class today, just right now, type hello in the chat or type hello in the direct chat. If it right? Or if that embarrasses you, take a screenshot of some notes you're taking and send that just any way that you sort of can demonstrate that you were engaged today for even a moment. You're just going to submit that right here in this portal. And as long as you submit it by midnight, you will automatically get 5 points for it. I will tell you where all the points go. I will. If you submit it like a day late or an hour late, you'll get 4 points. And past that, it's pointless. It's stupid because it's meant to be a daily reflection. Okay, so anything, and I'm looking in the chat. I see things are happening in the chat, and I know we only have 4 minutes, but 3 people have turned in, and that's great. Just turn in something, and I'm going to try to get you back the points on this like immediately, just so that we know we're on the same page now. And yes, open up a fresh document or whatever for this. Don't type it in the notes. Don't type it as a comment. Like literally make it a document, even though it'll only be one sentence. It's kind of practice for submitting fresh documents to all other stuff that's bigger. Okay. And as these things are coming in, and as I'm looking in the chat, I'm going to tell you now, every day there's a term like that where you just have the option of just saying some way in which you engage. All these other portals underneath, and you notice they're all due December 6th. All of those are optional. They are different ways that you, like if you showed video today, you can submit, which a lot of you did, and I really appreciate. Notice it is not mandatory. I can't force you to show video, but for any moment, and I wouldn't, but any moment that you do show video, you just screenshot that and send it in. Like today, you'll get points for that. If you do it again tomorrow, upload it again to the same portal. It's fine. When it says due December 6th, it's just saying that any time through the semester that any one of these applies, you can and should submit, and you can double dip like anything that you did that. So somebody asked me to go back on a slide or something or whatever, or somebody helped someone else, that's called multiplayer co-op. But if they did it with their voice, then that's called speak now or forever hold your chat. So you can triple dip, double dip, any way that you ever engage that you can find. You at any moment, you just submit into the portal. You have to submit, but then I'll see it, and then you get the points for that. And all the points add up to something, which I may or may not get a moment to explain right now. But I hope it's clear. And if anybody thinks on the side of some other way to engage that I haven't thought of, they'll just send me a chat, and I'll make a new portal for it. I hope it's sort of clear what I'm saying. Wait, I know there's a lot in the chat going on. Hold on. Yes. Yeah.
Professor, the portal doesn't open. Like I press the classroom and it doesn't open for me. It just blanks.
Oh, wait a minute. Really? Wait, okay, thank you for saying that. And thank you for using voice. Okay, wait.
So it did work for me. I was able to look at all of them and try to submit them. I had to hit view instructions to be able to see the inside of the assignment.
Oh, maybe that's it. Thank you. That's really helpful. And that counts for multiplayer co-op, by the way. Hopefully, maybe that's it, that you have to hit view instructions. And again, since I know we're running out of time, and I apologize for that, like we will pick up with this on Wednesday, and I'll answer more of these kind of the bottom. No axe is going to fall tonight. All this is I'm trying to tell you guys how to get tons of points in this class. The clock will not run out tonight or anything like that. If maybe in the WhatsApp thing that you guys said, maybe Cheyenne or someone else can help. I don't even know who just asked. Was it Claudia? I'm not sure. Okay, but if it were, and as soon as I know the bell is about to ring. The 13 of you who have turned in so far, I'm going to try to turn it right back to you right now, just with like a quick note, and then you'll just see that we're in communication and we're working. The other 6 of you, like, try to do this first before you do anything else, because it's just a way of getting points and making sure that our system is working. But we'll talk more about this Wednesday. Just everybody should try their best on the real, and you'll notice the physics homeworks are worth more. But all of these points go into one big pile that I'll explain to you how that affects your grade. Okay, I'm just looking. Wait, yeah, today's under turn 1, right? So you upload it under turn 1. Yes, because there's right. All the game portals that don't say turn 1, they're all like long-term. You can use at any time, multiple times. But the turn 1 is the one that's like technically due tonight at 11:59. I know we're about to hopefully, but even if it's not totally clear, don't stress. Your main priority tonight is to try to do the math homework, the physics homework one. We're going to meet again at the same time Wednesday. We'll start with just questions and confusions. But for now, so again, I know I talk very fast and I'm very high strung. My goal is for us to get comfortable with this class and with physics first and then get excited by it. I just want to repeat again, I want you all to do well. It is not a competition and it's not a competition against me. And so if you think, and I'm going to stop the share because so even if you understood nothing today, there's plenty of time to, but sorry, Josephine, you have a question? I'm sorry, Josephine.
Yeah, I think at some point you mentioned that there was homework due tonight, like the physics homework, but then like on the Google Classroom it says it's due Wednesday. So do we have until Wednesday to do it?
Right. Great question. The actual physics homework that's called homework 1 number line, that's due right before class on Wednesday. The thing that's due, just the game turn 1, just this moment of reflection that like you just did, or some of you just did.
Yeah.
That's technically always due before midnight because it's sort of pointless because it's just a moment of reflection. It just takes 2 seconds. So that's what's.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's not.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, cool. So
Thank you.
Thank you all for participating so much. And Shawnee, maybe if you want to hang out for a second, I don't want to keep the rest of you. I know it's late. There's no harm, no foul. If anything is still not clear, we will clarify it on Wednesday. No one's going to be punished. But since you all have to go, you can go. But I will always stay until the last person gets what they need. So if Shawnee or anybody else is having an issue, let's hang out for a minute and we'll try to work it out. And if not, we can work. Yeah, Shawnee, if you want to hang for a second. But anyway, thank you guys so much for participating. Very nice to meet you all.
Have a good day, Professor.
Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you for saying goodbye.
Have a nice night.
You too. Thank you. You too. All right, wait. Thank you. Have a awesome. Oh, Maria, what's your wait? I see you have a question. Wait. Oh, I see what Maria's saying too. Yes, maybe that's Shawnee.
Yeah, because like on iPad and iPhone, it's better if you use the Google Classroom app to upload stuff, just because you'll get less glitches and everything.
Oh, wait, that's really helpful. So wait, all right, and do you mind?
I didn't know there was an app. I don't have an app. I'm doing it from like the website, like where the link sends me.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's very easy. It's in the App Store. It's just called Google Classroom. And it's gonna be the exact same interface and everything. It's gonna ask you to enter a class code though. And actually I think I can give you that because I think I have access to that.
I think you do, yes. Oh, this is very helpful, Maria. Thank you.
If I remember how to do it from like high school.
And if you don't, I've got it here too, but this is
okay, yeah. Then I think it's better if you give it.
Oh, okay. All right. No, but all right. And this is section 2, correct? We're all agreement this is section 2.
Yeah, that's section 2.
All right. So the code is, the code is, okay. Yeah, that is the code that I just put in. It's a weird code. And Maria and Shawnee, you don't mind hanging out for a second while we were like, are you okay to be here while we resolve this? But great.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, great. So yeah, if you want to try now doing what Maria's saying, that would be awesome.
Okay, I'm on. I think I'm on it now. It says stream classwork and people. Is that correct?
Right.
Is that what I
yeah,
should be seeing?
Yeah, and so you want to go
And
to
then-
class. Oh, sorry.
And then you go to classwork,
Right.
and then not right now. Where do I upload the picture?
So if you go under And you can, by the way, you can share your screen if you want. It might, if you don't mind, it might even help us. But if you
Sure.
go,
Hold on.
okay.
I don't know if I have that option. Wait a minute. Oh wait, it says share content screen.
Right.
Can you see?
Oh yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
I can see something. Okay, right. So go to, so what we're talking about, what Maria and I are talking about right now is if you go to where it says a game turn 1, that very
Okay.
first, like scroll up to, there you go. All right, now view. Oh yeah, so hit view instruction, right? Okay, so now if you just hit, for something as simple as this, if you just hit that thing that says add or create, right, you can open up you can create a new Google Doc, like you can just hit docs where it's great.
Okay. Did it add
I
it?
just, you want to click your doc.
Yeah, now click, right. Okay, great. So now for the purpose of like this kind of thing, you can literally just type in right now, I said hello, or I stayed after class and made sure I had the homework right, or whatever. You can just like type one sentence and you don't even have to write your name or anything because that'll all be clear in the uploading. So you just type, just type something straightforward.
Oh, let me. Oh, there we go. Okay. Why is there so much stuff?
Yeah, it is a little
Can't see the
weird.
screen.
Okay. That's great. All right. And yeah, that's cool. And I will remember this. So great. Okay. Right. So, and then it should allow you
Do
to
I
hit,
just press turn it in?
Yep,
yes, it
it's up
allows
there.
you.
Just turn in.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay.
Okay.
Right. And then you hit, yep. Right. So you say, yeah. And you hit, yep. And
Okay.
now it's in. Now, of course, like in the future, if you wanted to add screenshots or this or that, you can insert things and all those details. But what you've just done is what we want. Like that is, you've now done that homework. And I'll grade on my side and you'll see, and both of you, because I'll do yours first. Well, actually, I mean, if you want, I can do it right now, but in a minute, both of you will get back 5 points from me just to confirm that we're on the same page. And okay. And then, with the math or the actual problem sets of physics, it's one step more because assuming you want to do out your homework on a piece of paper, which most people prefer, assuming that you want to like be able to write things out and do equations and diagrams, you will have to like turn those into a PDF and upload. So it maybe is one more step that you might want to talk to Maria or other people about later. But this is the basic idea. Like now you have just, in fact, as long as we're here, let me just see if I can right now give you both satisfaction because as long as you're waiting this long. Hold on. But you've done homework now. And once you get this process, it's all like this. Like everything works the same way. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong.
Google Docs also makes it easier to turn things into a PDF because like you just go into your file section and then just hit turn into PDF.
You're kidding.
And then
Yeah, I'm not tech savvy. I'm gonna have to learn this.
Wait, that's amazing.
I'm used to good notes.
yeah, you can also turn it into like other things.
That's wait.
Well, I know that for Word document that you can do that, but I meant like this. This is why I had said that you can use Notability or Good Notes because it automatically gives you the option to save it as a PDF, or you could just send it as it is, or export it as it is. So I most likely will be uploading from Good Notes because it already creates a PDF for me, and it'll automatically upload to you, Professor, as a PDF. I'm not as familiar with Google Docs. I am familiar with Word document and I can make that into a PDF. I'm more familiar with Microsoft. I'm not as familiar with Google Docs.
Okay.
That's okay because Google Classroom also lets you upload from like Word. If you download it as a PDF first, you can just upload it there.
Fantastic.
Okay, cool. Because I was a little lost just now. I'm like, hey, I never used this before. This is new.
Yeah, no, and that's why I'm glad you hung out. I'm glad Maria hung out. It does. and I recognize we'll have a little time for everybody to get adjusted. I know it's a new thing for some people. I think you'll find if you've done those other things, I think once you get used to this, it will be easier than it seems or than some other things. But yeah, it takes a moment. Wait, I just saw that. And Maria, you hopefully just got something back. Or tell me if you did.
Yeah, I got an email. Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. And I'm just going to do Shawnee's too. And again, I want to emphasize like honestly, both of you now, if you're getting used to this, where all these other portals, they're not required at all, but like there's a portal that says multiplayer co-op, and each of you, which means like, I mean, it gives instructions, but it's for any opportunity where two people helped each other. And that means two people, like Maria might be doing like sort of the helping and Shauna might be getting that help, but you're both collaborating and you're both making this class better by doing so. So each of you, when you get a moment, you just take a screen, like even screenshot like us talking right now or whatever, and put it in the multiplayer co-op thing, and you'll get points for that. And all these points will add up at the end of the day. Does that make does that make sense? Okay. All right. So I really appreciate that you hung out to make this clear. And in a set. All right, you know, as long as let me just make sure I can get back before, since you're both here, I got back Maria's. I'm just going to make sure that Shawnee sees her, so we both all know that this is all working. Where is Shawnee? Shawnee Gibbs. Wait. Well, this is interesting. Am I looking at the one? Wait, Shawnee, you are in the Google Classroom. Is your name Shawnee? Well, I'm glad we're checking this. Wait a minute. Shawnee Gibson is your name, and it is your name in your email address, right?
Remember, I'm not a part of this class, so I might not be on that list. Remember, we talked about
Right.
that.
Okay, yes, we did. Well, all right. Well, that's another good reason I'm glad we're doing this right. Okay, right. Hang on. Bear with me for a second. Well, I'm glad okay. I have to get you. Yes, I do remember now that you're mentioning it, but I wouldn't have remembered. So I'm glad all right. Hang on. Oh, there you are. Oh, I see. Okay. Great. Okay. You'll get this back from me in a second. Okay. Oh. And everything, all notifications, all work you'll see. I mean, Maria already knows this, already saw this, but it all comes through your email address. Like it'll appear as though you just got an email, but you should see right now that that I just gave you back 5 point, like your document with 5 points on it. Do you see? Is it there? Or are you gone? Wait. Hello? Wait. Well, okay. Well, anyway. Well, all right. Wait, Shawnee, are you gone? Oh, okay.
I'm still here.
Okay. So do you see on your end, did you just get something back from me, like with the document marked up in like 5 points?
Classwork.
It would probably come to your email address.
It doesn't say anything yet. It still says 0.
Under
game points and participation.
Under literally that very assignment that said turn 1, like the very.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything.
Really? All right, hold on. Oh, maybe.
It says graded, but it doesn't say anything.
Oh, it does say graded.
It's going to be very small. I don't know how it looks on iPad, but the number in itself, 5 out of 5, is very small on laptops.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
And
well,
thank you for that.
I don't.
But the other thing is okay, yeah, it is very.
It could be in the information section.
Let me see. I don't even have an information section. It just says screen people in classroom.
Do you want to? Well, one thing, do you see the edited document there? Like wherever when you open up that assignment, you should now see not only the original document that you uploaded, but you should see like a copy, a PDF where it was marked up in red.
Okay. Wait, hold on. I think I'm go back. Still learning. Hold on. Okay. Where is it? It's not there anymore. Oh, hold on, wait, my bad. Hold on, my bad. View. It would say edit it.
It would have two, but one thing, hold on, I'll say, yes, it would have two files there and one of them would say edited. But I also could say, Maria, you've been extremely helpful. I don't mean to keep you past, like, to
Let's
take
see,
advantage.
I don't see the 5.5. It just has the edited version where it says great, perfect score or perfect, something like that.
Okay, so you see that.
But I
All right,
don't see the points. I
Okay.
don't see no points though. That part is not there.
Then I think the other, well, Maria will correct, since Maria is still here, Maria will correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the other way you could find your points is, I think, do you have a section called grading or something on your side or something like?
Hold on.
Let's see. Yeah, if you go into at the very top, like before, you have a little filter that says all topics. Above that little filter, there's a button called view your work, and that'll take you to another page that has another filter on it, that if you clicked returned, it'll show you all your returned assignments.
Mine doesn't have any of that.
So I can share my screen. Maybe that'll be more helpful. So there's this filter, all topics, right? Above this little view your work icon.
Okay, I see it.
And then you go, yeah, so you click that and then you go returned. And right here will say your grade for your returned assignments.
Okay, I see it. Now I see it.
Oh, great. Okay.
See, she's very much familiar with the platform. I'm really not. At all.
Well,
I've used it for all 4 years of high school.
where did you go to high school, Maria? If you don't mind my asking, where did you?
I went to high school over in Rockaway. It was called Epic South.
Oh wow, Rockaway, awesome, awesome. That's cool. Well,
I actually know where that school is because that's close to where I live.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, and seriously, both see, this is all of this. I know this took a lot of time for both of you, but I think this is super helpful for, like, this whole dialogue is helpful for me to get to know both of you better. It's helpful for me to, like, now I have a sense of the different range, like both, like Shawnee, for every Maria that's in this room right now, sure, there's other Marias in the class too that also have background with Google Classroom, but for every Shawnee that's in the room now, there's other people who also do not know this platform and didn't have the guts or the perseverance to stay after with me. So you're both making it clear to me what I have to make clear to everybody else in 3 sections. So this is all, as long as you see that, like, this is all good. And it will be fine. You will get used to this. I strongly believe that. I mean, the only people that I've had ever since COVID began, I will tell you this straight up right now. There were 2 students in all of the semester since COVID began, 2 students that even by the final exam of 204 still were not turning in properly formatted things. But both of those students, like, how can I say this, went out of their way to not ask questions and not try to understand and to rebel against the system. Like, the fact that you're sitting here asking and being patient with Maria and Maria's being patient with you, like, means you're going to get this and it's going to be fine. If that makes sense.
That's probably me. It's a lot of traffic behind where I am.
Well, oh, okay. And you're driving too, so it'll be easier.
No, I'm not driving. I'm not driving. I'm in the hospital. I'm not driving. I promise.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't gonna judge, but like, whoa, okay, all right. No, I think we'll all be fine. And again, with this whole dialogue, I will be more aware at the beginning of Wednesday that there might be still kinks in the system, and I'll see. But I think we're gonna be fine. I really appreciate that you both spent all this time. Is there any other question I can answer for either of you? Or
no, we're great. I'm gonna explore this a little bit and learn it on my own time. I'm good with Zoom. I'm good with Word and Microsoft. I'm good with GoodNotes and Notability. So if anybody needs help as far as like the PDF part of it, I can help with that. Awesome. I'm just not very familiar with just using Google by itself. I never use Google Drive. Like, I have my Google Drive clearly, but I never use it to make like documents or PowerPoints or things like that. So this
I mean,
will, that will
if
be
you
like
can
the
figure out
little bit of the link.
Microsoft, Google's gonna
Got
be
you. If
so
you need
easy
help
for
with the
you. If you can figure out
Microsoft.
Microsoft,
Yeah,
it's
I
gonna be
think
so easy for you.
right.
All right, I just gotta explore it a little bit, but thank you guys. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you both so much. Thank you. All right. Cool.
Okay. Have a good day, both of you.
Yes. Thank you. You too. Okay.